The Xylok Empire had conquered hundreds of planets across the galaxy, leaving behind a trail of devastation wherever they went. Each world that fell to their superior technology and brutal tactics became a silent testament to their might. But when the Xyloks set their sights on Earth, they found themselves facing a force unlike anything they had encountered before: humanity. Commander Xyra of the Xylok fleet stared at the holographic display in front of her, her expression a mix of curiosity and disbelief. She had been informed of Earth's recent advancements in weaponry, and she had assumed it was some new form of energy-based technology. Perhaps a powerful laser or some kind of quantum disruptor. Instead, what she saw made her wonder if the humans were simply mocking them. "What is this?" Xyra asked, her voice laced with incredulity. The image on the screen was an odd contraption. It appeared to be a simple machine, crafted from crude metals and wires, with no visible signs of advanced technology. "It's called a gun," replied her lieutenant, trying to suppress a chuckle. It's a projectile weapon. The humans use it to fire small metal objects at high speeds." "A projectile weapon?" Xyra repeated, her tone growing darker. "This primitive thing. How do they expect to challenge us with this? We are the greatest force the galaxy has ever known. The power of the Xylok fleet cannot be stopped by mere projectiles." The lieutenant hesitated before answering, unsure how to explain the situation. "Well, Commander, the thing is, the humans don't just rely on their weapons. They fight with a kind of determination. They're relentless." Stutter's irritation only grew. "Relentless? What's so special about their determination? We've crushed countless species under our heels. Their willpower won't save them from us." The lieutenant paused before offering a more detailed analysis. "They've been known to fight in groups, swarming like ants. And the worst part? They're incredibly resourceful. They'll use anything they can find to make their weapons more deadly, even things as simple as rocks and sticks." Xyra's eyes narrowed as she absorbed this information. The idea of humans using primitive objects in creative ways didn't sit well with her. She had witnessed the might of the Xylok Empire firsthand, and she knew that brute force alone was not always the answer. But this seemed absurd. "Fine," she said after a long pause, her voice cold. "We will deal with this weapon and their so-called determination the way we always have. We will destroy them." The Xylok fleet descended upon Earth's atmosphere. Soon the sounds of their ships filled the skies. Xyra observed from her command ship as human forces scrambled to defend their planet. What she saw next was unlike anything she had imagined. Humans did not retreat in fear. Instead, they rallied together, using their stupid weapon in ways that were beyond her understanding. They fought in cities, in forests, and even in the air. In every battle, they adapted quickly, using their surroundings to their advantage. The gun, a simple device in Xyra's eyes, was nothing compared to the tenacity of its users. Xyra watched as human soldiers, wearing crude armor and wielding their primitive firearms, coordinated attacks with precision. They didn't fight like the other species she had encountered. The Xylok warriors relied on overwhelming force, striking fast and hard. But humans had an uncanny ability to survive, to endure, and to push forward no matter the odds. A small group of humans infiltrated one of her ships, managing to bypass security systems with crude, makeshift tools. The Xylok soldiers inside the ship were unprepared for such a direct assault. They had expected the humans to cower, to beg for mercy. Instead, they found themselves fighting for their lives. Xyra clenched her fists in frustration. How was this possible? How could a species so seemingly insignificant show such resilience? On the ground below, the human resistance continued to grow. The more Xylok soldiers that fell, the more humans seemed to rise up. They were everywhere, and it seemed they could never be stopped. Even those who were injured kept fighting, refusing to surrender. It was the human spirit, Xyra realized, that made them so dangerous. It wasn't just their weapons or tactics. It was their refusal to give up. No matter how many of them fell, there were always more. They were willing to sacrifice everything, knowing that if they didn't, their entire world would be lost. In one final desperate act, humanity unleashed a weapon unlike anything the Xylok Empire had ever seen. It wasn't the gun that Syra had at first seen, nor was it anything more advanced than that. It was something far simpler, an act of unity. A planet-wide strike where every human, no matter their background or location, contributed to the war effort. A massive force of humanity stormed the skies, armed with what appeared to be nothing more than crude weapons and their unyielding resolve. The Xyloc fleet, once unbeatable, was thrown into disarray. The humans fought not just for survival, but for the very idea that they were something more than a conquered species. They fought for the right to exist, and in the end, it was their strength of will that overwhelmed Service fleet. One by one, Xyloc ships fell, overwhelmed by the sheer force of humanity's relentless resistance. The Xyloc Empire, despite its superior technology, was forced to retreat. As the last of the Xyloc ships disappeared from Earth's atmosphere, Ira looked out over the battlefield. The humans had won, and they hadn't done it with advanced weapons or superior technology. They had done it with the stupidest weapon she had ever seen, their refusal to be beaten. In that moment, Syra knew the truth. The most powerful weapon in the galaxy wasn't technology, wasn't firepower, wasn't might. It was something far simpler, the unbreakable will of humanity.